Can you hear that? That's silence. It's powerful. And it's exactly what your enemies fear the most. Chosen ones, have you ever noticed how loud the world becomes right after you decide to go quiet? There was once a woman named Layla. She never said much. While others posted their plans and paraded their progress, she simply worked in silence. No hints, no previews. Until one day she emerged with a breakthrough so grand it left the whole town gasping. They asked her, "Why didn't you tell anyone?" She smiled and said, "Because silence protected the promise." Your silence isn't weakness, chosen one. It's your spiritual weapon. When you hold your tongue, heaven moves on your behalf. And in this video, we're diving into 7 divine reasons why your silence is not only necessary, but strategic. It's not just about keeping secrets. It's about spiritual warfare, divine timing, and the wisdom to let God finish what he started without interference. So, chosen ones, stay with me till the end, because what I'm about to share with you could make the difference between breakthrough and breakdown. You're about to see why silence isn't just golden, it's godly. As it says in Proverbs 10:19, "When words are many, sin is not absent, but he who holds his tongue is wise." Let's dive in, angels. Point 1. Silence activates the spiritual realm. Heaven speaks in silence, the power of quiet alignment. Heaven isn't in the business of shouting over chaos. It doesn't send push notifications or demand attention like the digital world we're tangled in. Instead, heaven whispers, softly, consistently, and it waits for us to hush the noise long enough to hear it. In a culture addicted to volume, likes, opinions, trends, silence almost feels foreign, but it's in that very stillness where the divine chooses to operate. The absence of noise is not emptiness, it's the sacred ground where alignment happens. Silence, for the spiritually awake, isn't passive, it's power. When you, chosen one, pull back from the crowd, the scrolling, the over-explaining, your energy condenses into purpose. Like a magnifying glass under the sun, it burns brighter and deeper. In silence, your thoughts reorganize, your emotions regulate. Even neuroscience agrees. Studies have shown that just 2 hours of silence daily can create new brain cells in the hippocampus, the part responsible for memory and learning. That's not just science, it's spiritual synergy. But here's the catch. Silence confuses those who operate in noise. When you go quiet, people who once fed off your moves, your emotions, your reactions, they panic. They can't track you anymore. You've gone off their radar not because you're lost, but because you've locked into divine guidance. Heaven doesn't need witnesses to work wonders. God doesn't shout strategies from mountaintops. He speaks in stillness to those humble enough to listen. Elijah understood this. In 1 Kings 19:12, when he stood in a cave waiting for God to appear in thunderous signs, he found him in a whisper. Not in the earthquake, not in the fire, but in the still, small voice. That's not coincidence, it's divine design. Those who are destined for greater things often receive instructions not in noise, but in nuances. When you align yourself in silence, you move differently, not impulsively, but intentionally, not loudly, but with authority. You let heaven write your script while the world still fumbles with captions. Angels move without needing credit. God opens doors without announcing them. And your enemies? They're left stunned, wondering how you manage to rise without saying a word. So stay still, stay silent, stay spiritually tuned in. Because when heaven moves, it doesn't ask for attention, it just delivers results that silence every doubter. And that, chosen one, is the language of the divine. Point 2, silence confuses the enemy. Let's be real. Your enemies are watching you like you're the main character in a suspense thriller on Netflix. They're not just scrolling past. They've subscribed, turned on notifications, and are tuned in with popcorn, hoping to catch the next episode of your life. Why? Because deep down, your existence challenges theirs. Your glow, your resilience, your quiet progress. It unsettles them. They want spoilers. They want to know your next move. But when you go silent, oh, they panic. Silence isn't weakness, it's strategy. In warfare, one of the most powerful tactics is misdirection. And spiritually, it's divine camouflage. When you stop posting, stop updating, stop justifying, and start operating in silence, your enemies lose the GPS to your soul. They don't know if you're thriving or barely hanging on, if you're scheming your next big breakthrough or on your knees in prayer. And that confusion, that's power, that's protection. There's an old saying in spiritual circles, the devil can't attack what he can't detect. This isn't just poetic, it's potent. In neuroscience, studies show the brain is addicted to patterns. People too love predictability. So when you break patterns, when you don't react the way they expect, you disrupt their control. And in spiritual warfare, unpredictability backed by faith is a powerful weapon. See, not everyone who watches you claps for you. Some are secretly hoping for your downfall so they can feel better about their own stagnation. But silence makes them uneasy. Your refusal to explain yourself frustrates their assumptions. It forces them to sit in uncertainty while you walk in purpose. Your quiet confidence screams louder than any comeback could. And here's the twist. They're not just watching to laugh. Many of them are watching because deep down they admire your strength, your perseverance, your grace under pressure. But their ego won't let them admit it, so they mock what they envy. That's why your silence is sacred. It's not emptiness, it's alignment. It's you syncing with your higher calling and letting your actions do the speaking. So let them wonder how you're glowing without showing. Let them guess if you're plotting or praying. Just remember, you're not hiding, you're being hidden. Hidden in purpose, hidden in power, hidden in God's protection. And that's the kind of plot twist no enemy sees coming. Point 3. Silence honors divine timing. Not everything God reveals to you is meant to be shared immediately. In fact, some of the most powerful revelations you'll ever receive are not for public consumption, at least not yet. They're sacred. They're intimate whispers from the divine, crafted just for your soul in a specific season. And just like a masterful piece of music, divine timing has its own rhythm. When you try to rush the beat, it doesn't sound right. The melody gets distorted, and what was meant to elevate can end up unraveling. Think of your blessings like fruit on a tree. Even if the seed is planted in good soil, even if it sprouts with promise, it still needs time to ripen. You wouldn't pick a mango while it's still green and expect it to taste sweet. In the same way, prematurely announcing your vision, your plan, your purpose, before it's matured, can attract unnecessary eyes, unwarranted opinions, and sometimes spiritual sabotage. Yes, sabotage is real. Whether it comes through envy, doubt, or manipulation, some people simply cannot handle the weight of your calling. And when you speak too soon, you might unknowingly give them access to something they were never meant to influence. Silence, in this sense, isn't weakness. It's wisdom. It's the sunlight that ripens the fruit. It's the sacred space that allows your blessing to marinate in heaven's timing, not man's approval. Neuroscience even supports this. Studies show that when we talk about our goals too early, our brain gets a premature reward, making us less likely to follow through. Speaking too soon can literally steal the drive from our own motivation. But when you wait, when you steward the vision with quiet confidence, you give God room to shape it, strengthen it, and protect it. You're not hiding it out of fear, you're shielding it out of reverence. Just like a baker doesn't pull the cake out of the oven because someone's curious about the smell, you don't reveal what's still being formed just to satisfy someone else's impatience. So hold what God gave you with honor. Share when He says now, not when your ego says go. Because when the moment is right, your blessing won't need an announcement. It'll speak for itself, fully ripe, fully radiant, and undeniably divine. Point 4. Silence is a test of maturity. When you reach a certain level of spiritual maturity, you begin to understand a truth that evades many. Silence is not weakness, it's wisdom. You no longer feel the urge to broadcast every step you're about to take. Why? Because you've learned that power doesn't come from prediction, it comes from alignment with God, with purpose, and with peace. While the world rushes to share, post, tweet, and overshare, the chosen ones move differently. You move with quiet intention. You no longer need to prove, you simply are. The spiritually mature understand that words can only say so much. It's the energy you carry into a room, the calm you radiate in chaos, the decisions you make when no one is watching. That's what speaks volumes. That's the real sermon. You've discovered that stillness doesn't mean inactivity. It means direction with discipline. Spiritual growth rewires your instincts. Instead of blurting out plans, you discern the right timing. Instead of retaliating, you retreat into peace and let divine order handle what your words never could. There's a reason why the strongest people often say the least. It's not because they have nothing to say, but because they've mastered the art of sacred restraint. Proverbs 17:28 puts it this way: "Even fools are thought wise if they keep silent, and discerning if they hold their tongues." Your silence isn't hiding weakness, it's containing power. When you speak less, you observe more, and in that observation you gather wisdom, clarity, and insight others miss. Look around. People who talk too much about what they're going to do often don't do much at all. That's because speaking gives them a false sense of accomplishment, like they've already achieved something by announcing it. But chosen ones, your power is different. Your energy announces you. Your discipline carries you. Your consistency reveals you. And that, more than any caption or comment, leaves a lasting impression. So live your life in peace and in power. Move in silence, not secrecy. There's a difference. One is fear-based, the other is faith-based. You don't need to post your path to prove your progress. Trust that the fruit you bear will speak for itself. Because sometimes the loudest sermon you'll ever preach is your life well lived. Point 5. Silence protects the seed. Every vision that God plants in you is a divine seed, full of potential, promise, and purpose. But here's the thing about seeds. They're fragile at first. They need darkness before they see light. They need stillness before they sprout. And they need protection before they grow strong enough to endure storms. When a seed is constantly dug up to see if it's growing, it dies. The same goes for your dreams. Speaking too soon about what God whispered into your spirit can expose that seed to forces that are not yet meant to be part of its growth. Doubt, envy, mockery, and sabotage often come not because your dream is weak, but because it's prematurely exposed. Science backs this idea too. A seed needs a stable, undisturbed environment for germination: warmth, moisture, darkness. It's the unseen work beneath the soil that brings forth the miracle. Likewise, your vision needs time to develop in silence. When you constantly share your plans with people who don't carry the same spiritual frequency, you're digging up your purpose before it's taken root. Not everyone will understand your calling, and some will actively try to discourage or destroy it, not out of wisdom but out of fear, jealousy, or their own limitations. Chosen ones, your gift is sacred. It's not meant for display before it's ready. It's meant for cultivation. Talk less, pray more. Let God develop your ideas in His timing, not the world's rush for attention. Even Jesus didn't perform His miracles without preparation and divine timing. Joseph's dream of ruling came true, but not before he was thrown in a pit by jealous brothers. David was anointed king, but returned to the fields before ascending the throne. What's the lesson? Divine destiny thrives in hidden seasons. So protect your seed. Let your actions speak. Let your fruit surprise them. Let people wonder where your breakthrough came from. There's power in mystery. There's protection in silence. And there's favor in obedience. When your seed finally breaks through the soil, healthy, strong, and ready, no man, no hater, no doubter will be able to deny the harvest God has prepared for you. Your silence was never weakness. It was strategy. It was wisdom. It was spiritual armor. Keep planting. Stay hidden. Let God reveal in due season what He's been growing in secret. Point 6. Silence is divine alignment. Sometimes in life, the loudest breakthroughs come from the quietest seasons. You might find yourself wondering why things suddenly feel silent, why your phone stopped ringing, why that opportunity you were excited about didn't pan out, or why people who once cheered for you have disappeared. It can feel like rejection, like the world has muted your voice and locked you out. But what if that silence isn't rejection at all? What if it's God's divine protection, His sacred strategy to realign your path and prepare something greater behind the scenes? Chosen ones, understand this. When God quiets you, it's never without reason. Think of it like a theater performance. Before the grand reveal, the curtain must be drawn. That silence is your curtain call. Behind it, heaven is rearranging people, redirecting paths, and removing distractions that don't align with your purpose. That job you didn't get, maybe it was a trap in disguise. That person who ghosted you, perhaps they were never meant to walk into your next chapter. That platform that hasn't blown up yet, maybe God is building your character so your influence doesn't destroy you when the spotlight finally hits. In the Bible, even Jesus experienced divine silence. Before his ministry began, he spent 40 days in the wilderness, away from the crowds, being prepared and tested. David, anointed to be king, went back to tending sheep in obscurity before ever stepping onto the throne. These were not setbacks, they were sacred seasons of refinement. Silence isn't punishment, it's preparation. We live in a world that celebrates noise, followers, likes, shares, applause, but don't break your silence just to feel seen. Don't rush to prove yourself when God is still painting the masterpiece. The silence has a holy function. It's sharpening your discernment. It's teaching you how to hear God clearly when no one else is speaking. It's developing your inner strength so you won't crumble when the pressure of purpose finally hits. Let the silence do its holy work. Let it rearrange you. Let it humble you. Because when the time is right, God won't just open doors. He'll build entire rooms just for you. And when that moment comes, you'll realize that the silence wasn't the absence of progress. It was the birthplace of your power. Point 7. Silence creates shockwaves. When you finally speak, it hits different, because when a chosen one breaks their silence, it shakes the atmosphere. The words aren't just sounds, they carry weight, wisdom, and timing. Silence, for you, isn't weakness, it's strategy. It's not about having nothing to say, it's about knowing when to say it. Your silence is not empty, it's loaded. It's the calm before the storm of divine blessings about to rain down in ways no one saw coming. You've been quiet not because you're unsure, but because you're aligned. You're listening, observing, discerning, and preparing. And when the time is right, your voice won't need to explain anything. It will simply confirm what the heavens already declared. Silence has always been a tool of the wise and the chosen. Think about history. Prophets, leaders, revolutionaries. They didn't always speak first. They listened, they watched. And when they finally rose up, their words shifted nations. Your silence is the sacred space where prophecy brews. It's in that hush where clarity finds you, where God speaks to you directly, and where distractions can't touch your spirit. According to psychological research, people who speak less but observe more often have greater emotional intelligence. They're not easily swayed by noise because they're anchored in something deeper. And let's talk about those waiting for you to react, those who try to poke, provoke, and pressure you into spilling your plans or justifying your peace. Don't fall for it. You don't owe explanations to people committed to misunderstanding you. That energy, save it. Let your elevation speak. Let your peace preach. Let your results roar louder than your responses ever could. Because when the fruit starts showing, the doubters go silent on their own. The world is already sensing something's different about you. There's a weight in your presence, even when you're not saying a word. That's the anointing. That's the divine timing. You are a walking prophecy. And when that prophecy finally speaks, it's not just noise, it's movement. So guard your silence like treasure. Let it be intentional. Let it be sacred. And when you finally speak, when the chosen one finally breaks the silence, the world won't just listen. It will transform. Chosen ones, silence isn't emptiness. It's echo. It's the space where God whispers secrets meant only for you. It's how you protect what's sacred, confuse what's evil, and honor what's holy. You don't have to explain what God is doing. Just live it, walk in it, and let your silence set the stage for a divine performance. The next chapter of your life doesn't need a narrator. It just needs faith. So the next time they ask, "What's next?" smile and be silent. Watch what happens next. Stay silent, stay sacred, stay chosen. Until next time, chosen ones.